Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Delta Entertainment. I am your host, Liquor Kenobi. And before we get started, I'd like guys, please hit that like button and please subscribe to my channel. Would appreciate that very, very much. All right, let's get into this. So, here we go again with Leslie Heyland, bro. Labels YouTube Star Wars commentators as fascist and racist while discussing why the Acolyte was canceled. Now, everybody around the world, they saw the Acolyte and they saw how they ruined Star Wars. Completely. I mean, it was ruined way before the Acolyte. But this show, The Acolyte, it really did a number on Star Wars fans. A big number. And, now they did it based on the High Republic comic book series that was out. And the High Republic comic book series, it failed massively on sales. Real massively. People were not buying. People were not interested. It was just plain stupid. And they had they had LGBTQ people being Jedis and all that. And it just was wrong. Literally wrong. So, now Leslie Heyland is complaining, cussing out at YouTubers for saying the truth, because it's true. The Acolyte sucked, and it was terrible, But of course, Lucasfilm went with it because the Force is female in their books, so in their eyes. So let's take a read at this. In her first major interview since The Acolyte was pulled from Disney+, series creator Leslie Heyland offered her most unfiltered remarks yet on the show's reception, the Star Wars YouTube commentator world, and the circumstances behind the show's cancellation. Speaking with The Wrap, Heyland and alternated between acknowledging creative criticism and sharply condemning portions of the Star Wars YouTube community, a community she claims to have followed, interacted with, and financially supported for years. Heyland described The Acolyte as a unique creative challenge from the outset. Unlike other Disney Plus Star Wars productions, the series was set in the High Republic era with all new characters and none of the visual or political elements associated with the Skywalker saga. Aside from Jedi, Coruscant, lightsabers, Yoda, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and Yoda. Now, Ki-Adi-Mundi, he was introduced in The Acolyte, but there was the Wikipedia, they changed his history of it. They changed his history that he was that he was always in the High Republic, but I don't remember him being in the High Republic era. So of course, when the Acolyte show came out, they immediately changed the Wikipedia. They changed it. And it was bad. It was always a major risk because it's all new characters. It's all new timeline. We don't have stormtroopers. We don't have the Empire. We don't have the political scaffolding that Tony Gilroy brilliantly exploited in Endor. We don't have what we had. We had the High Republic Publishing Initiative, and then we had the prequels. Those were our two big references, specifically when it came to lightsabers and how those fights would feel. She also acknowledged that viewers' criticism of the story and execution were legitimate. Any grips creatively with the show are completely valid, she said, but that admission was quickly swept away by what came next. Leslie Heyland on YouTube was Star Wars critics. Although Heyland stated she was not online during the height of the Acolyte discourse, she emphasized that she was long been part of the YouTube Star Wars commentary community. I'm a Star Wars fan, despite once claiming the idea of a protagonist who comes to view the Jedi as evil as somehow new and revolutionary for the saga. I guess that's what she meant. Which means I've always been, since the launch of YouTube, part of the Star Wars recap, criticism, lionization, fandom community. Heyland said she was followed many of these creators for years, and she even supported some of them financially. These guys I've known for years and years. I supported them on Patreon. It was within this context that she launched into the remarks now dominating headline. There are some of them that I respect, and there are some of them that I think are absolutely snake oil salesmen, just opportunists. Then, of course, there are fascists and racists. So it runs a gamut. It isn't just one thing to the other. Yeah. Look, all I gotta say is, man, that this show was really bad, bro. They did more. They showed more adultery, and they showed more of this crap, and it just did not work. It didn't work. According to her own framing, these labels were not directed at anonymous trolls, but as identifiable members of a community. She claims to personally know personally, making the remark one of the most attention-grabbing elements of their entire interview. Headland's remarks align with a broader narrative expressed by several people connected to the Acolyte over the past year. Rebecca Henderson, Headland's wife and an actress in the series, previously argued that backlash against the Acolyte was driven by racists. Man, don't put the racist shit in there, man. Stop putting that race card in there. This wasn't because of racists. This was because of political identity politics in there. If it was so good and it was going to be great, why didn't the books of the High Republic go on sale very well? Why didn't they go very well? Why? Because the story sucked. That's all it is. It sucked. You destroyed how the Force was created. You freaking put all this LGBTQ nonsense in there, and you put in more adultery, not for kids. Come on. The show sucked, man. And they don't want to admit it. Jolie Turner-Smith, who also suggested that a race-based hostility was a primary factor in the show's negative reception and called on Lucasfilm to confront fan criticism for it directly. These Leslie Heyland comments now extend that framing into the long-established YouTube Star Wars commentary scene, and a lot of big names had a lot of bad things to say about the Acolyte. Throughout the show's run, The Acolyte was one of the most discussed entertainment topics on YouTube. Prominent creators including Neurotic, Star Wars Theory, Critical Drinker, WDW Pro, Valiant Renegade, Heel and Heels vs. Babyface produced regular breakdowns, critics, and industry analysis covering the series, its lore, decisions, and its performance. Exactly. That's what people like us do. We look at the analysis of what the fans say about it. Rotten Tomatoes, if it was Rotten Tomatoes, if it was Critic List, it was IMDb, whatever. We determine if the show was good. We determine the viewership if people have been watching it. And we look at for ourselves how it performed. It was terrible. The show was terrible. That's it. Bottom line. That's the bottom line. But Heyland does not want to admit it. Within the Geeks and Gamers network, the show received sustained overage as well. Geeks and Gamers founder Jeremy Griggs, Ryan Keno, and numerous hosts across the platform's affiliated channels discussed each episode, cast interview, and industry development, contributing to a larger ecosystem of fan commentary that surrounds the Star Wars franchise. Addressing the show's abrupt cancellation, Heyland said she expected it, though not the way it unfolded. I was not surprised by it. I think I was surprised at the swiftness of it and the publicness of it. I was surprised by how it was handled. Typically, Disney and Lucasfilm never truly announced that a Star Wars project has been canceled. They're just quietly shelved and never mentioned again. But The Acolyte, Disney made a very quick, and a very public statement that the show was ending. Heyland said that once she began receiving calls about criticism and viewership numbers, she realized the decision was looming. Okay, the writing's on the wall for sure, she said. One of the most widely discussed statements in the interview came with Heyland reflecting on how the fan conversation around Star Wars has evolved. it made me start to think the content being made about Star Wars was ultimately be more culturally impactful than the actual Star Wars. Coming from the show's creator, the statement illustrates Headland's view that YouTube commentator reactions and criticism may now wield more cultural influences than the official productions themselves, including from the very creators she partially labeled fascists and racists. Despite the controversy, the backlash, and the short-lived run of her series, Headland said she remains confident in her work. And if she remains confident, then why has she not been hired anymore? Why she hasn't been doing any more Star Wars movies or films? Because she's no good. I'm sorry, Headland. But your story sucked. Your story sucked. And it wasn't going to make it. There's never going to be no Acolyte Season 2, man. It's never going to happen. And right now, Lucasfilm has been in the barrel right now. It has been under the barrel. The only thing that might have saved it was Andor. Andor might have saved it a little bit, but still. Right now, next year, you got The Mandalorian Grogu coming out. We don't know how that's going to perform. I'm sure it's going to make money in the box office, but for the fans, how is it going to perform with the fans? Is it going to be disappointing, or is it not going to be? But time will tell. What I'm hoping for is that Star Wars Starfighter will do better than The Mandalorian Grogu. Will make things different for Star Wars. I am hoping for that. I hope the Star Wars Starfighter sets off to beginning to be a new story and a new era. We shall see. All right, that's going to be it for this video. So you guys let me know what you guys think. So please, by all means, share this video, post a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being part of the channel. And I hope to see you guys until next time. Bye, everyone.